Welcome back, and thank you for joining for another one of Mike and Billy's Whiskey Reviews. Just gonna be Mike today, coming to you from the Jack Daniel's Bar in Grove City, Ohio. And today I'm gonna do a small re-review of Laphroaig 18. Billy and I had done the Laphroaig 18 in Whiskey Review 60 something, I believe. But the sound was terrible, and this is one of my favorite whiskeys. So Laphroaig 18 was discontinued a few years back. But I was able to pick up this and 4 of his brothers for a total of 5 at a liquor store in Xenia, Ohio. Just going through there, I saw a customer for business in Monroe, Ohio. Came through Xenia, saw a state liquor store right on my path. I said, let me stop in. And they had 6 Laphroaig 18s for the price of $105 US. I bought 5, I didn't buy 6. Why, you ask? Because I will leave 1 for a worthy whiskey hunter. Laphroaig 18 is a 48% ABV whiskey, Island of Islay, a beautiful whiskey that they just simply don't make anymore. And I was incredibly excited to walk upon this whiskey because this is one of my go-to whiskeys when it was readily available. I had 3 go-to whiskeys. Ardbeg Uigeadail, Lagavulin 16, this Laphroaig 18. As a matter of fact, now that I say that, I'm going to bring you a comparison of all 3. My go-to whiskeys, the whiskeys that I have bought more than anything else. But today, right now, you and I, we're going to focus on the Laphroaig 18. 48% ABV, unchill filtered. I believe it is colored. But it is one of my favorite whiskeys. And this is how, when I tell you my 3 favorite or most bought whiskeys with the Ardbeg Uigeadail, Lagavulin 16, Laphroaig 18, this is how it works. Ardbeg Uigeadail is roughly $70, $75. Lagavulin 16 is roughly $90. This one is $110. So, if I was out of one, obviously I'd buy that. However, if I was to get one to take someplace, or if I was going on vacation and wanted some, I would always buy the Laphroaig. Of the 3, it was the most expensive, but the most accessible. Let's talk about why. This smoke, and there's a lot of smoke, there is, but compared to normal smoky whiskeys, Ardbeg 10, Laphroaig 10, Lagavulin 16, this is a subtle smoke comparatively. Now, this is the first time having a smoky whiskey, you're gonna think this is incredibly smoky. It is incredibly smoky, but it's a soft smoke. And a sweet smoke, a sweet seaweed smoke. It's malty. And maybe just like a tinge of salt. The sweetness is really incredible. It's almost like if you take an Ardbeg 10, have a dram, have a glass. The glass is empty, but you don't rinse out the glass, you put it down. And you come back to it the next morning. That sweetness is a strong sweetness, and it's the sweetness I get off this Laphroaig 18. It's very similar to the 15-year-old, which I recently got to try from my buddy Foodquig, who's another whiskey YouTube reviewer. Great whiskey, man. I still have a little bit of that Laphroaig 15-year-old, and I'm gonna savor it. But this 18-year-old has that subtleness and that sweet peat. It's just amplified in the 8-year-old for whatever reason. Excuse me, 18-year-old for whatever reason. First sip time. Sweet, full, and fulfilling. It's salty, it's briny, it's smoky, it's phenolic. On the nose, not on the palate, obviously, but on the palate, It's tar, road tar, fresh road tar, but with an edge taken off of it. It's like the bottom third of all of those things. A little bit of dark chocolate comes in at the end. It just completely coats the mouth with a nice oily finish. Now the ash and the char comes in right at the end. Oh, I love the 18-year-old Laphroaig. To me, for the money, when it was available, you're talking again $110 American, you have to go to a Laphroaig 25 to get a better experience. And Laphroaig 25 is a $500 bottle. Now, Laphroaig is filled with the 10-year-old and a bunch of Naz whiskeys. One of them being the Lore, which is actually more expensive than this 18-year-old, which Lore is a good whiskey. I reviewed that as well. But it's not on par with this 18. And 18 is actually a cheaper whiskey, or at least when it was readily available. Now, Lore is supposed to have up to 21-year-old whiskeys in it, but the overall profile they get from the Lore is a much, much younger whiskey on the average. This whiskey was a great value for the money and a good 18-year-old age statement, and I am so disappointed Laphroaig went away from it. I am completely excited I found 5, and I'm only going to give that one extra one that I left in the shop for a good whiskey hunter 3 total weeks because I have to see the same client, and I'm going to pick it up if it's still there on the way back. But this particular Laphroaig, for the money, is the best buy. The next one, and I've had the 25, I've had the 30. I recently bought a 40-year-old Laphroaig, probably 4 or 5 months ago for a ridiculous price. I haven't opened up yet, but I will bring that to you. But to me, the 2 Laphroaigs that are a great buy is this 18-year-old and then the 10-year-old cast strength. The 10-year-old cast strength is roughly a $65, $70. No, I think the ones I just recently picked were $62.99 here in the United States. And that is an incredible whiskey. Back to the 18. Now they've added a little bit of water. Let me see if I can pick up anything else on the nose. More maltiness on the nose. The smoke took a step back. The sweetness is still there. There's a malty, tarry characteristic to it that I wasn't picking up without water. And that's pretty standard. I usually don't pick up that malty tar characteristic unless I add a few drops of water. I just pretty much glaze over it, smoke, sweet. Great one. Last sip time. Everything you want in a peated whiskey. It's got strength, it's got complexity, but it's got the refinement of age also. If you are a peated whiskey fan, there's something for you in this, unless you just like a heavily sherried peat. I pick up very little sherry, if at all, on this one, but everything else it has. It has punch, it has complexity, and it has refinement. And a good long finish. Laphroaig 18 is one of my favorite whiskeys. I can't remember what exactly I rated it before. I didn't want to watch my previous video to jade my opinion on this particular one, but I'm going to say this is absolutely 91 out of 100. I've called my Lagavulin 16 my standard 90 for a smoky whiskey, and I still stay true to that. But this particular one, whew, just a notch above the Lagavulin 16 in my opinion. Great whiskey. Wish they would bring it back. But I thank you for joining us. For another one of Mike and Billy's whiskey reviews. Until next time, I wish you happy drinking, and I'll see you in the comments section.